Those guys come over from the States, whether it's from Boulder or from the West Coast, and they spend a few days in your office, and they say to you, Feed, you guys are doing everything good over here, but I think you should concentrate more on X. What would that X be? Whether they're right or wrong.
Yeah. Let me think, actually. So I think that a lot of them are frustrated with how complicated it is to close rounds here. In terms of the certainly relative to the States, like the old methodology of documentation signing, electronic signatures, all these kind of things in the States are much more fluid and easy, and you can actually, you can close a round remotely. Right, you can have a guy in Singapore who's signing documentation that's legally binding on online platforms in the States, whereas in Europe we have a legal system that's kind of, much more old school and harder to shake up and change, and certainly I know that a lot of these U.S. guys have been quite frustrated with the methodology kind of involved, right?
Just the red tape of
the red tape involved with actually closing.
I haven't heard that before.
No, I haven't heard that. I mean,
I was trying to think of something new.
I mean, a lot of people say that but then when people in the States, in Europe, people think X and people in the States think 10X, and they say it's a whole mentality difference. I mean, we've heard that over and over. Is that a cliche, or is that?
No, that's true. It's totally true.
Is that valid?
I think it's valid, certainly, but I mean, I think it's obviously reflected in round sizes and what you call a Series A and what you call a seed, right? I mean, it is 10 times less.
Right. Is it round size, or is it the size of the market compared to the U.S.?
Well, it's also size. No, it's also size of the market in terms of a lack of balance on the other end of things, on the IPO side and everything like that, right? So you need to have those wins to actually finish the whole process off and justify the beginning as well. And there's definitely, still relatively quiet on that front.
And that's something that comes up on the show a lot. Is
do
we need that big IPO that then has the PayPal effect 3 years later, and then has the effect 3 years after that of growing these new companies?
You can totally see it, right? Like the ecosystem, it's small enough weirdly. Like there's so much going on, but yet it's still small enough that if a group of people just wound up with like £1 billion, right? Like say a couple hundred people, even if it was that many people, it would just.
And they would stay as entrepreneurs. As Feed
exactly.
said.
They
you can't go back.
It's Fede.
Fede. My mistake.
No worries.
If they stuck around, it would just ignite the whole place, right?
Do you agree with that? I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, but obviously the crucial part of that statement is that they stick around and reinvest, right?
Yeah.
Need to just go for your gut feeling, and it's exciting, it's scary also, so you just need to sort of load that rucksack and responsibility every day and just get on with it and try to make a difference. So it's very, very different, obviously.
We've had companies like TransferWise in here, and other ones that are trying to challenge the banks, and we talk about the innovator's dilemma. And by being in a banking company,